David DeAngelis presents the Millionaire Maker Lecture, How to Get Everything You Want Out of Life by J. Earl Schoaf. Digitally narrated using the voice of Edward Herman. Transcript of a 1962 speech by J. Earl Schoaf, given live from the Essex House in New York City. I just want to take a few moments and cover some things that have assisted me in acquiring things in my life. I know that few people are aware of these basic fundamental laws that operate in this world of ours. Some people are aware of them. Some people are not aware of them, but they are using them. And sometimes we wonder why certain things happen to us. We acquire certain things, and then over a period of time, it seems like we live in stagnation. Nothing happens. Nothing takes place. Everything seems to be at a standstill. There are basic laws in this universe that we are governed by, and will work for you if you know how to apply them. And I would like to cover a couple of these laws that will assist you in knowing why these things happen. For an example, everybody is aware of the law of gravitation. Now we don't know how it works, but we know it works. It works for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you are a saint or whether you are the opposite of a saint. If you jumped off a 20-story building and you were a saint, and you land on a concrete sidewalk, you are going to be an unhealthy saint. If you happen to be a crook and you do the same thing happens to you. So basically, it doesn't matter if you are good or bad. If you use the law of gravity wrong, you are going to suffer. The law of electricity works for all of us. If we use it properly, we can light our homes by screwing a light bulb into a socket. If we stick our finger into it, then we get bit. You're going to get burned. We can burn your house down with electricity, or you can light your home with it. You can cook with it. You can use refrigeration, all the great things that electricity will do for us. You do not have to be an electrical-minded person. You don't have to be a genius to do it. A child 3 years old can push a button and turn the lights on. And one of the greatest electrical engineers in the world, all he can do when he pushes that button is that he can turn the lights on too. So basically, it does not matter. It will work for you. We have laws to success. We have laws of poverty. We have laws of lack, laws of prosperity. We have laws of hate. We have laws of love. We have laws of peace. All of these are basic laws. If we use them rightfully, wonderful things will happen to us. If we use them wrong, then we get ourselves in trouble. Now, one of the things that has always bothered me in all the books I've ever read on setting goals in life, positive thinking, positive goals in life, many of you have probably read some of the books. You follow these different steps, rules, laws, that if we set 10 goals, we end up with 2. We lose out on 8. So it is not like the law of gravity seemingly, because it doesn't work every time. And one of the reasons it does not work every time is that we do not use the right law. We are using part of the law, and so the law of averages will give you a percentage of your goals. That is all. You say, gee, wasn't that great? It happened to me. But whatever happened to all the other goals you had in life? I'm going to lay down a simple basic way, and you can have anything material you want to have, and you can be anything you want to be, and it's a simple basic situation. There's absolutely no problem to it. These are scientific things that work every time, if you will do it in a simple way. Now, the first thing we want to become aware of is we want to be like farmers. We are going to plant seeds, and these seeds that we plant are the seeds that we're going to reap. Now we're all aware that if we plant a seed of tomatoes, we are not going to get cucumbers, we're going to get tomatoes. If you plant a watermelon seed, you're not going to get grapefruit. You're not going to get radishes. If you want radishes, folks, you're going to have to plant radish seeds. And when you plant a seed in the earth, you must plant it properly. If you do not plant it properly, you will not have the harvest. One of the major problems in our country today for the average person is they take the time and the effort to buy all the harvesting equipment, but they do not understand the planting and the cultivating. We want to reap harvest, but we do not want to take the time to plant, and we do not want to take the time to cultivate. Now the planting of the seeds in the earth is basically and absolutely the same process that you use in the mental world. We are born with a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. We are the only animal in the kingdom that have both the conscious and the subconscious mind, a mind that can decide any time in life where we want to go, or what we want, or what we don't want. We can decide with this accomplished mind of ours if we want to do a thing, or if we don't want to do a thing. We can decide if we want to ear, or if we don't want to eat. We can decide if we want a drink, or if we don't want a drink. We can decide what we want in life, in a home, in an automobile, in the clothes we wear, anything that we want in this world, any type of furniture, any type of a home, any type of an anything. We decide at any time. Now, where most people are making mistakes is that they simply set their goals down. Now, what are your goals? Write them down. A fellow says, I want a house, a car, some furniture, I want some money. And this is the way they set their goals. Now he has a whole group of seeds, let's say apple seeds. We had 50 different types of apple seeds, and we just grabbed any of those seeds and we throw them in the ground, and they come up, and they're green apples. I wanted red ones. That's because you picked any type of an apple seed. You didn't describe it. So we must learn to define. Now you've heard of the word visualizing. You have to learn to visualize things. And when you visualize something, this is the thing that's going to come in your life, if the visualization is strong enough. Now we're always visualizing things in our life, but the tendency is to visualize negative situations. Now the reason that we're visualizing negative situations in our life is because, let's not kid ourselves, we're living in a negative world. So if I say, Joe, how are you feeling today? And he says, good, fine. And I ask him the next day how he feels, and he says, I feel terrible. I've got a pain in my stomach and I ache all over. And he goes into you'd think he was an actor. He can describe a negative situation in his body so wonderfully. But when he feels good, he just says, fine. How come people, when they feel fine, they don't say, I feel great, I feel wonderful. I feel so great that I expect all the wonderful things in the world to happen to me today? In other words, have a little feeling when you talk about the good things in life. I say, how are you doing in business? You say, fine. Now if he has a bad day, he says when I ask him about his day, lousy, let me tell you this is I'm just having a terrible time. Did you read that article the other day? It took me several hours to find it. It was on the back page down at the bottom in fine print, but I located it. People love negative things. They seem to vibrate with them. For some strange reason, they don't want things that are negative in their life. But they keep insisting on talking about them. And they can paint the most beautiful picture of lost and lack. I say, by the way, internal, and everybody immediately starts shaking. Combustion. A guy says, you know what I thought you were going to say? And he starts creating pictures and he says, by the way, I wonder about last year. What I did with that, I wonder if they'll find that. And immediately he says, I can see the guy coming in the door now. I wonder when he'll be here. I wonder what he'll look like. And he gets beautiful pictures. And the next thing you know, the guy is knocking on his door. He created the picture and he brought it into his life. And the funny thing about creating things, folks, we are creators. Nothing comes to us. Everything comes through us, from us. Everything in this world that happens to us comes from here, not out here. And everything that you have in your life is exactly what you designed. The dress you're wearing, the coat you're wearing, the tie you're wearing, the necklace you're wearing, the home you're living in, the neighbors you've got, the friends you've got, and the senators you've got. So don't blame me for people that you attracted. When you signed this person up, you're the guy that coached them in. You didn't care who it was as long as he came in. And pretty soon, you helped plenty of them and you say, You know what, Shof? I've got a lousy bunch of distributors. Well, when you understand these laws, you won't tell me these things. I'm not talking about you or you. I wouldn't dare. There's too many here. What I'm saying is that everything we attract is what we are. And what I am speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say. And what you are speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you say. So everything you say is the thing that you created. So be careful what you create. Be careful. It's hard to visualize a thing. Let's try something, folks. Let's visualize a 707, shall we? What's a 707 look like? I've only been in one a couple of times. I've only seen one in the air once. It's hard to visualize one. You want to visualize an automobile or a stole? I don't know why I keep saying stole. My wife must be visualizing a stole. I keep getting that feeling every time we come to New York. You see, we have to learn how to describe things. Now I'm going to go through a description of a thing because this is very important in your life, folks. Please try to remember what I'm saying. You can change your life that quick. You can have everything wonderful in your life. You can have everything wonderful happening to you if you use these few basic little things. Now I'm going to describe a thing, an automobile. I'll talk about an automobile because an automobile is easy to describe, and people can comprehend it very quickly and very easily. I'm not going to talk about a Chevrolet. I'm going to talk about a Cadillac. Anytime I'm talking about a Cadillac, folks, I'm not describing the Cadillac per se. I'm talking about a Cadillac idea, the Cadillac idea in the clothing, in the home, and the things you really desire deep within you. And I'm not talking about something that you say, well, I've got to have money to buy a Cadillac. I'm not talking about money. It's not necessary that you have money to have a Cadillac. There are many wonderful things that can happen to you. These things can come to you from many unusual sources. Many wonderful things can happen to you. If you believe in the thing I'm talking about, your income can be doubled, tripled, quadrupled. The one thing that I had in my mind, that I had defined in my mind, was a red Cadillac convertible. I never had owned a Cadillac in my life. Now you probably don't want a red Cadillac. I wanted one, and I defined that thing right down to the socks. And the end result was I had me a red Cadillac convertible, and my income increased to a point where it cost me nothing. This is visualizing. This is a positive attitude toward the things you want. Too many people stop their dreams because they start thinking about that thing that is not necessary in order to have it. I say to somebody, do you want a new Cadillac? You say, I want one, but I can't afford it. I say, it has nothing to do with affording. I just want to know what you really want. Most people are afraid to define what they want in life. They're afraid it's going to cost them something. Well, if you're making $1,000 a month right now, and you double your income to $2,000 per month, you can have a Cadillac. You can have 2 Cadillacs. You can have 5 Cadillacs. Don't worry about the income. I'm just talking about the principle now. The Cadillac, what do you do about it? I'll say, Pete, what would you like to have? He says, a Cadillac. Now don't forget, folks, I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to him. He has nothing to worry about. No money, no nothing. I say, Pete, what do you want? He says, a Cadillac. I say, fine, Pete. Now this is where people make their mistakes. I say, I've got a nice 1936 beat-up model downstairs. I'll give it to you. He says, I don't want a 1936 model Cadillac, I said. You just told me you wanted a Cadillac. He says, I want a 62 Cadillac. I said, why didn't you tell me, Pete? Why didn't you tell me? This is the way people set their dreams. He doesn't just want a Cadillac. Do you want an orange or a green one? He says, I want a red one. Now he's starting to define. And you know it's very difficult to define up here in your mind. The first thing you do is you get a piece of paper, folks, and you start defining on a piece of paper. A 1962 Cadillac, a red Cadillac, a convertible. I'm just describing one car now. You can have any kind of car you want. A red Cadillac, 1962 convertible with a white top, red-white upholstery, a red floor, white wall tires, electric windows, AC unit. The guy says, "How much does that cost?" I say, "Don't worry about it. You're going to get it for nothing." The guy says, "I'll take it then." Now he says, "I'm going to put everything down then." That's right. Describe it right down to the T. And when he gets all through, the perfect visualization is up here now because he has described it. When you write it, you start seeing it. He gets the picture up here by writing it down here. This is how you define things that you want in this world. When he gets that Cadillac completely defined in his mind, he's got the seed. He hasn't planted it yet. He's got it picked out. Now the important thing is that you must release that seed. You must release it, and it must be planted. And the perfect thing in the world to plant that seed is to take this piece of paper now and write the concept. Thank you. That's the law of acceptance. And you would be amazed how many people in this world can't accept their goods. You would be shocked. Thank you means you have accepted it. I'm going to have it. I know it's mine. Then you take and you fold this piece of paper up with this goal on it, with this dream, with this desire, and you put it away. Put it underneath a tablecloth someplace. Put it in a drawer someplace. Don't carry it around and don't take it out and look at it anymore. When you do this, that is planting it in the subconscious mind. You've accepted, you've put it into the subconscious mind, and the thing starts to work. Now when you put this thing away, the reason you put it away after you have defined it, the seed has been planted in the subconscious mind. You put it away someplace, never to be looked at again. The reason for it is like planting a seed in the earth, folks. If you go and dig that seed up 2 or 3 times a day to look at it, nothing's going to happen. If you've never seen a lack of faith, it's the farmer who had the gullibility to dig up the seed to see if it was growing yet. Now that is little faith. He really believes in the laws of growth, and that's the same way with us human beings. This is the way we're making our mistakes. When we plant in the subconscious mind, and it's there, the dream is there. The dream starts working towards you, the Cadillac starts working towards you, and events start taking place out here. And the next thing you know, it's getting closer and closer to you. Now if you take it out and you start to look at it, the thing that happens is we say, "I wonder where it's coming from." This is a true showing of a lack of faith. I wonder when it's coming. I wonder how it's coming. And so you are putting doubt in your law, and it will not come, folks. It will not come to you. Now what's going to happen to the seed that you planted in the subconscious mind? You'll be driving down the street, you'll be in a restaurant talking to a friend, and all of a sudden, there's a red Cadillac convertible with a white top, and the whole thing will hit you again, and you'll see your dream. And it'll keep coming back. The reason it'll keep coming back to you is this is the only way that the universal law has of talking to you. There's no voice, it's all in visualization. And when this dream comes up, what it really means is that it's on its way to you. It is on its way to you. It's right around the corner. And so you do not at that time say, how, when, or where. All you do is say, thank you, because you know it's on its way. And then immediately put it back out of your mind. And how would you act if you really and truly wanted a red Cadillac convertible, if you really and truly wanted one, and it was a strong desire in your life, and you knew it was on its way? How would you act? You'd be excited, wouldn't you? You'd feel good. You'd say, man, it's almost here. It's almost here. You'd walk taller. You'd look taller. You'd be happier. You'd be full of positive. You'd act different. Wonderful things are going to happen to you. Where does the positive attitude come in at? It automatically creates a positive attitude because it's the law of expectancy. Good things are going to happen. You have planted your seeds properly, and they are working themselves to you, and you are automatically a positive person because all these wonderful things are going to happen. Don't just have one seed planted, folks. Plant many seeds. Any great desire you have in your life, a tangible object or intangible object. You can have anything in this world you want to have, and you can be anything in this world you want to be by using this simple process. There is absolutely no way you can keep success from your door if you will just follow this basic, simple little process that I just described. This is the law of life, and every one of you people have worked this process. Maybe you weren't completely aware of how you worked it. But think about it. That's why you only get 3 out of 8 things, or 1 out of 8 or 1 out of 10, because you didn't know exactly the process you were using. Now you know the process, so you can deal with anything in this world. Children are children, folks. How many times have you heard people say to their children when the child says, "I'm going to be president of the United States," and the father and mother will say to them, "You? With your studies, you'll never make it, Junior." Now this is a wonderful seed to plant in that fertile little brain. The subconscious is putting in the mind, telling him he can't. He's not smart enough. The child says, "I'm going to be a rich man when I grow up. I'm going to have everything in this world." You say, "You? You're going to have to learn a lot, Junior. You don't know how to handle money. You've got to learn how to use that old elbow grease." Anybody who's ever used much elbow grease, if he's ever made millions, I'll assure you the elbow grease is up here. Now, what do you want to tell Junior? Anytime any children come to you or to their parents, you should tell your children, "Junior, you're the type of child who can have anything in this world. You have the ability and the intelligence to go anywhere, do anything, and have everything in this world. It is yours because you're that type of a child." Start planting these seeds in our children. This country today is teaching too many children, what to think instead of how to think. And what are we? We are only children, a little older than the other children. We are grown-up children, and we have to at some time in life. We have to start deciding and pinpointing things that we want in this world. And I'm not just talking about the tangible objects. I'm talking about intangible things. What would you like to be? What type of person would you like to be? Would you like to have more love in your life? Well then, you must learn to give love. You'll never have anything without giving. Everything I have I receive back, multiplied. If I have a lot of hate in my life, I'm giving a lot of hate out. And so if I don't want hate coming in my life, I shouldn't be giving it out. If I don't want people to talk about me, I shouldn't be talking about people. Everything that I send out, I get back with feeling. Every thought I think I don't get, because I didn't plant my seed properly. I did not have a true visualization. How many of you ladies have thought of a beautiful dress or a beautiful something that you don't have? How many would love to have a mink stole? A few years ago, if my wife even mentioned a mink stole, the first thing that would come in my mind was, where are you going to get it from? How are you going to pay for it? I did not understand these things. When you just say, mink stole, do you know what? I never was aware that there was so many mink stoles in this country. Every kind of every price and color and designs and everything else, and if you don't even know the exact kind you want, how do you know if you can ever expect to have it? Do you know the amazing thing? The average person in this world, and I'm only saying this because we are the average people of the world, and I say average because I'm talking to an intelligent group of people. I'm not talking to people way down the ladder. I'm talking to a group of intelligent people. And I'm saying this, and you analyze this yourself. Ask yourself this basic question. Do you know what you want in life? If I were to ask you right now, what do you really want? What is a tangible object that you want in this world? Things you can feel and touch and smell. What are the things you want in life? And you know, folks, the amazing thing, I doubt if there's 2% of the people in this room who can tell me and describe it, and just like that come right out and say it. So, what is success in your life? What is it that you want? Define it. Write it down. Pinpoint every drop of that dream that you have in your mind. Define it so clearly on that piece of paper that you can completely see it in your mind. And when you get it written down, write thank you on it and plant that seed and put it away. And it will start to materialize, and it will start coming into your life. That is anything, folks, anything. Now a guy says, I'm going to put down the Statler Hotel. You know why it wouldn't work for him. I'm not saying it won't work for the fellow, but I'm saying that it won't work for the average person. Do you know why? He couldn't even imagine getting it. He can write it down. He can define it, and he can put thank you on it, but he can never plant the seed. And the reason he can't is because he couldn't even imagine getting the Statler Hotel. That's why. And don't forget, this is something you have to accept. You're going to have it, folks. I told people about a Cadillac, average people working on average jobs. I said, do you want a Cadillac? The guy said, no, I don't want no Cadillac, I said. Well, why don't you want a Cadillac? He said. For one thing, it costs so much to operate them. You see, he doesn't want one, he isn't ready for that step yet. Now see, he steps from one car to another to another. He raises his consciousness until pretty soon he can buy Cadillacs like the average person buys a pair of shoes. And you can grow. You can grow in your thinking. People say, boy, you got to be careful about people. They'll take you in if you're not careful. They get such a wonderful visualization. They're always getting taken in. So you see how we build these pictures in our mind. People will spend the morning. They're going to get ready for a wonderful day. Tomorrow morning, we're getting ready for a wonderful day. We're going out, and it's going to be the most exceptional day we've ever had in our entire lives. I said, how are you going to start the morning? Exactly what are you going to do? He says, well, the first thing I'm going to do is go out on the porch. He's going through his morning now. He's going to go out on his porch and get his newspaper and read a little bit about positive thinking in the headlines. And if he can't find it there, he'll look and look and look and look until he finds something that is really good and negative. And then he'll tell his wife and describe it. And he says, guess what I found in the paper? And he starts telling her about some wonderful divorce that's taken place in the paper, and the kids committed suicide. And he'll go on with this, and he'll say, just imagine that, imagine that. And he'll describe it, and the negativity will get started, and the wife will get negative, and he will get more negative. And when he gets all through with breakfast now, he's in such a nasty mood that he doesn't even like his dog. And he's going out to face the world with a positive attitude. Do you see how ridiculous it is, folks? Some of the ridiculous things we do in life, and we wonder why success doesn't always come to us in the proportion we'd like to have it come to us. Expect wonderful things. Be a creator of ideas. Let's not be moons, the reflector of ideas. Let's be suns. Let's be the creator of the light. Let's be the creator of the ideas, because we all have a capacity. That guardian of the gate has the conscious mind. This guardian can at any time let any thought through to the subconscious mind it wants. Any thought at any time. We are thinking human beings. We have the capacity to think of anything. Anything in this world we can think of. But we do not have the capacity to think of nothing. Now you try to imagine what nothing is. Try to get a thought of that. There is absolutely no way. So that means we are thinking human beings, and there are thoughts flying through our mind continuously, a steady flow of thoughts all the time coming through the mind. Now where do these thoughts come from? All of a sudden you say, gee, that thought must have come out of the clear blue sky. You didn't think of it. And it might have been something you didn't even know about. And the thought comes through and you say, well, that's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? That couldn't happen to me. And so you throw that thought aside. And if it's a good thought, why not accept it? Stop and analyze it and accept it. And let them happen to you. And these objects come through to you all the time. A negative thought comes through and you say, boy, that's a good and negative thought, and you start thinking about it. And pretty soon you get a frown on your face, and you think about it a little bit more, and you create a beautiful picture. And all of a sudden, you put that down in the subconscious, and you think, boy, there's another bad thing that's going to happen to me. Have you ever caught yourself thinking about something you didn't want to think about? And you've been thinking about it for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden you think, what am I thinking about that nasty thing for? We do it. We do it all the time, folks. But we can stop now, anytime we want, and we can change that thought and we can put in a good thought. If you don't want to think about oranges, change the thought and think about bananas if you want. If you don't want to think about lack, change the thought and think about prosperity. If you don't want to think about hate, think about love. If you don't want to think of anything negative, put a positive idea in your head. You know what happens. You can analyze, and you can just dream about it and everything else, and get all these seeds planted properly, and have all these wonderful things happen. Get 20 wonderful seeds planted. Get them written down. Define. Thank you. Plant them into the subconscious mind. Put it away, and every time it comes back into the subconscious mind and the law saying it's on its way, you just say, thank you. Don't analyze it because it's already planted. Just say thank you and go on. Have 10, 15, 20, 30 of these wonderful seeds planted, and folks, you'll walk on air. You'll have miracles happen in your life. And don't be afraid to do this. Your wife isn't in harmony with the wonderful things you want to happen to you. Well, if the husband isn't in harmony, or if the children are not, or your friends aren't, you don't have to show them. Plant your seeds privately then, and put them away privately and plant them deep, and all these wonderful things will happen, and you'll say, you know, one thing about that person, I don't know what happened to him. But man, oh man, everything they touch turns to gold. And that's the reason. That's the reason, folks, the proper planting of your seeds. It was a real pleasure being here with you. Thank you very much. Lessons, Introduction. There is an infinite abundance in this universe. Not only is there an infinite abundance of happiness, faith, love, courage, joy, humility, wisdom, generosity, peace, gentleness, meekness, patience, kindness, and all such qualities one could ever desire to express habitually, but there is an infinite abundance of every material thing that one could ever desire to have in order to express his individuality. So, the reason that so many people do not have the above in abundance is not because there is any shortage. It is simply because they are not aware of how to push the right button of appropriation. All things that one desires are available to one who understands the laws of appropriation. In other words, there is a simple set of rules by which all things are obtained, which anyone who really wants to learn them can learn and then be whatever he wants to be and have whatever he wants to have. If you will learn the ideas contained in this book and use it, I guarantee that you will realize your most cherished dreams. Lesson 1. The Count to 4 Technique. To be genuinely successful, to me, is to enjoy a large measure of happiness, health, and prosperity. It is a balanced type of life, harmonious living with good physical health and also plenty of money. So it was my privilege to start out as a poor, unhappy person and to make the same observations that the millions are now making. It was my privilege to learn these basic rules and to take them out into the hard-boiled business world, and to challenge every one of them, and to discover beyond any shadow of a doubt that there not only is a system of rules, but that anyone, not just a few, can learn them and use them and become just as successful as he wants to be. The title of this book, The Count to 4 Technique, is designed to tell you that regardless of your background, your lack of education, your lack of knowing anyone who is supposed to be important, your lack of funds, or any other seeming lack, you can still be what you want to be and have what you want to have. It has been said that 98 people out of every 100 have never decided just exactly what they want to be in life. That is, they have never come to any decision regarding a life's goal, like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, or Andrew Carnegie. Let's begin by looking at phase 1, which is to identify what you want. Write it down. Define it. Describe it. You see your thoughts as size and color and texture. One of the reasons a person is living a small, limited type of life now is that he is in the habit of thinking small, limited thoughts. So, for phase 1, let's not ask the price. Of the thousands of successful people whom I have studied, every one of them had either consciously or unconsciously developed the ability to think distinctly and clearly, and to define and identify the things which they wanted. The millions of people who do not have the things they want, at the same time, have not developed their ability to think clearly. Phase 2 is also just a mental exercise, and it doesn't cost you one red penny. Phase 2 is as follows. Pretend that you already are what you want to be, and that you already have what you want to have. Ask yourself, how would I feel if I were already the person I want to be? If I already had the things that I have written down on my phase 1 list, how would I feel? What would I do? Where would I be right now? In other words, assume the fulfilled dream. Assume the feeling of the dream fulfilled. One of the best ways that I have ever used is as follows. 1. I first assume that I have already attained my desire. 2. Then I ask myself what event would normally take place after I had attained my desire, but would never take place other than if I had attained my desire. 3. Then I make arrangements to live that event as though I had already attained my desire. Phase 3 is that ability within you to say yes and no. Many people have not learned that it is their individual prerogative to evaluate any life situation or event or proposition, and then down deep inside say yes if they believe it should be yes, and to say no if it should be no. I am not advising you whether in certain circumstances you should say yes or no, but in order to emphasize this point, I would like to say that you have the power and the right and the ability, if you choose, to use it, and the God of heaven gave you that power, right, and ability to use it. Keep identifying your desires and keep living in the feeling of having already attained them. Yes, you can control your attention units. You can learn to say no to anything which will hinder the fulfillment of your dreams. Phase 4 is the how. How do you get from here and now to there, and what you want to be, and have what you want to have, and not cost you anything? Well, I am going to give you the answer in several ways so that you will be sure to trust it. First, let me say that I am aware of certain facts, laws, rules, powers which are all natural, and which, if you will do certain things with the simple faith of a child, will all work for you and bring your dreams all fulfilled to you. How many of you have ever had an idea come to you for out of the blue? All of you have, I am absolutely sure. Well, how many of you know just where the blue is located? I don't exactly know where it is located myself, but I know the name we give it. The blue is your subconscious mind. Now your subconscious mind is like the soil into which the farmer plants seeds. Well, phase 1 is the seed. Phase 2 is the watering, cultivating, sunshine, and faith. Phase 3 is keeping the weeds out and not letting the enemy destroy your seed, which has been well planted and is being cultivated until the harvest. Phase 4 is the subconscious mind, which has the same quality in the field of life as the soil has for the farmer. For example, suppose that you want to enjoy the standard of living, which requires an income of $1,000 per month. But right now, your income is only $375 per month. Phase 1. You identify your desire of an income of $1,000 per month. Phase 2. You pretend and feel as you think you would feel if you already had an income of $1,000 per month. Phase 3. You would insist on maintaining that feeling regardless of any suggestion, which would disagree with you. Phase 4. You would listen for an idea from your subconscious mind, which will help you to actually earn and receive the $1,000 per month. One day you ask a friend of yours how many ways are there in the world, which pay at least $1,000 per month income. The way to state the phase 4 principle is this. The size and color of your thoughts are cause. Your experiences are effect. Each thought has size and color, or quality and quantity. Your thought regarding income is cause. Your income is effect. If you could go through some sort of mental exercise and thereby increase the quality and quantity of your thought, which is cause, soon the income, which is effect, would be increased accordingly. The Count to 4 technique is a mental exercise, which expands our thoughts regarding our desires, and the law of cause and effect brings our desires to pass. If you can count to 4, you can be anything you want to be, and can have anything you want to have. Lesson 2. The secret of genuine success. The answer is that any individual on the face of this earth can be genuinely happy, genuinely healthy, and genuinely prosperous if he will do just one thing. Switch his focal point of attention from how much can I get out of life, and develop a habitual concern about how much can I give? In other words, any individual on the face of the earth can be happy, healthy, and prosperous if he will seek an opportunity to serve, where there is an unlimited opportunity to serve humanity. The first compensation to one who has dedicated himself to this secret of success of rendering a great service to humanity is livingness. Of course, the great universal law of compensation proves to us that we are compensated in the coin of the realm according to the quality and the quantity of service rendered. And I would like to say that this law of success is not a theory. The secret of genuine success is very simple. All you have to do is to find a great channel of service to humanity. I would like to suggest most strongly that when each of you realize that when you see limitations in your own individual lives and limitations in the lives of others, it is not because there is no adequate supply to fill your needs. It is because you are unable to understand the method of appropriating this infinite supply. List all of the things that you want to have: a beautiful home, a beautiful automobile, clothes, and all of the things that you want to be. Then read it over constantly. Change it as your desires change, and you will see marvelous changes happen almost immediately in your life. I challenge you to learn the secret of success, to find a great channel of service to humanity, and then render it in a quality and quantity, and you can be anything you want to be. You can have anything you want to have. Lesson 3. Awareness is power. The first rule that I would like to share with you is this: we must become aware of the fact that we are thinking beings. Rule number 2 is to be aware that you can only think one thought at a time. Rule number 3 is that we must be keenly aware not only of the fact that we can think only one thought at a time, but that we can control all of our thought processes. The only way we can establish this new habit pattern is through control of our thinking, the use of our willpower. Through willpower, we clamp our new thoughts, our new concepts, our new objectives, our new desires, even though they are in conflict with the old habits, with the willpower, and hold them in place until we have the new habit established so strongly that it neutralizes the old habit. Rule number 4. I would like for you to realize that what we are at this time is the result of everything we have thought throughout our entire past. If I might quote the great Solomon of old, who said that, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Note this. What Solomon said about a man being what he thinks in his heart is not true because Solomon said it. Solomon said it because it is true. It means something to us today, not because someone said it many years ago, but because it is true. Another great teacher of old said that, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." We know that we can seek the truth about ourselves, and through the control of our thought processes, chart our future. Also, we should be keenly aware of the fact that whatever we want to be and whatever we want to have, we can be all of the wonderful things we want to be, and we can have all of the wonderful things we want to have, by realizing that we are thinking beings, that we can think only one thought at a time, that we can control this thought process by directing our willpower towards that which we want to be until it becomes a habit, that we are what we are today because of all of the thoughts which we have thought throughout all of the past. I challenge you to think largely and to make large plans, because they have magic to stir man's blood. Lesson 4. Choosing your goal. Our conscious mind has the ability of reason either A-type or B-type. A-type means that we have the ability to investigate any matter, remark, or situation before we will accept it as true. B-type means that we have within us the ability to accept it as true on the assumption that it is true without having investigated it. Now, due to the nature of the functions of the two major phases of the mind, 98% of the people do not understand the way the mind works. They are the victims of every suggestion which comes their way. In the thought realm, the idea concept is the father. The subconscious is the mother, and the result is the son. It is my desire to make it quite clear that anyone, regardless of who he may be, regardless of his station in life at the present time, can discover his goal in life, and by directing his attention to it, can obtain it and live a very happy, healthy, and prosperous life. It has been said that 98 people out of every 100 do not have a goal or main purpose in life. That is not true. Every person has a goal or a major purpose in life. Every person was especially designed to serve or express life in some particular channel well. 98 have not discovered their channel as yet. The Bible tells us to ask, and it shall be given unto us. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. If you have a quiet time early during the day, you can use your willpower to neutralize your negative mood and dynamically outline a positive pattern on the spot for the rest of the day. 1. So, first of all, we define our goals. 2. Then we must develop a strong feeling, or a white heat desire for our objectives. 3. The subconscious responds to our desires to the degree of our feeling impressed upon it. Many people do the following. 1. They assume that they already have attained their objective, and then plan to dramatize an event which could only take place if they have already attained their goal. 2. Then they play this little drama, and the subconscious is impressed, because it is implied that they have already reached their goal. Your real and genuine desires will come forth, and you will be one of the 2% instead of one of the 98% who do not know what they want to be or what they want to have. Let me challenge you to know that we live in an inexhaustible abundance in this universe. There is no limit to what you can be or have, except your ability to dream and believe in your dream. Lesson 5. You can have self-confidence. I would like to introduce a wonderful word to you, which will mean a great deal to your happiness. The word is consciousness. It means the sum total of all your beliefs. Add up every thought or idea which you have ever accepted as true, and that adds up to your state of beingness or consciousness. If you have accepted thoughts in the past which are not true, regarding who you are and what your relationship to other people is, then you have a consciousness of inferiority. You have that consciousness because you have accepted certain untrue things as though they were true. Fill our minds with the thoughts of who you really are and how important you are. The purpose of life is to live. To live is to express. To express is to be what you want to be, and to do what you want to do, and to have what you want to have. There is an abundance of everything you could desire in the universe. There are laws or rules of making available all the things you desire. So all you need to do is to learn the laws and decide what you desire, and then do something about it. It is your privilege to either say to yourself, I don't believe all this, or to say, I am open-minded and will assume that it is true until I prove it either true or untrue, inasmuch as it is good. If it proves untrue, fine. At least I exposed myself to the possibility of discovering that it was true. If it proves to be true, then I will always know how you feel happy, healthy, and prosperous. The first thing one must do is to be able to think it in the form of an idea. Then the idea is the seed which falls into the soil, which is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind then tells us, from day to day, what form of action is required in order to bring about the fulfillment of our dreams. We will receive this daily instruction in the form of urges and feelings. Our part is to respond with confidence and do whatever we are led to do. Sometimes it takes years to realize our dream, and sometimes it takes almost no time at all. To gain self-confidence, may I suggest some things for you to do? Read this chapter each night before going to sleep for 50 nights. Attend as many lectures as you can on positive thinking. Obtain a recording on self-confidence and play it over and over and over as often as possible to yourself. Cultivate friends who have self-confidence. Associate as much as possible with people who have lots of confidence. Expose yourself to every possible source of information regarding the study of your mental processes. Lesson 6. Money. What it is and how to have plenty of it. We have said that money is a symbol and is not the real thing. We have said that money is the medium of exchange of something real. Money also is an expression of the real thing. Money makes it possible for us to express ourselves in life. Money makes it possible for us to do the things that bring happiness. Money makes it possible for us to have the things which are desirable. Money also is a container. Money is a warehouse or a storage unit, which makes it possible for us to render the real thing, that which money is the symbol of, in abundance. It makes it possible for us to render a service, and money is a container into which we store units of service. You can see how money is not the real thing, but a medium or a symbol of the real thing, which is service. In other words, money is an effect, not a cause. Money isn't service. Money is the symbol of service. We must be able to render a quality and quantity of service. Otherwise, we are not entitled to an abundance of the results of service. The thing to do is to get a definitized concept of this basic premise, that the real thing in life is not money, but rendering a quality and a quantity of service to humanity. Then habituate this concept by clamping it into place with our willpower. So may I suggest that you get a notebook and write down everything you want to be. You may think you want to be something that is going to take you years to accomplish. That is perfectly all right. Write it down. You may want something that only takes a few days to accomplish. Write it down. Then, after you have written down everything that you want to be, on the other side, write down everything you want to have. List every category: your living quarters, your furnishings, your clothing, your transportation, the recreational facilities, like clubs, etc., several times each day. Give some attention to this list, especially just before you turn out the light and go to sleep at night. Now let us briefly review. Money is a symbol, not the real thing. Money is a medium of exchange, which is the great convenience in our modern society. By the way, we never should feel negatively toward money. Money is good. Money is an expression, or money is that which makes it possible for us to express the type of life which we want to express. Money makes it possible for us to enjoy life by providing a means of exchanging our services for the services of others. When we are in and accumulate enough money, which is the symbol of service rendered, we can enjoy all of the finer things we desire. Money is a container, a warehouse, a storage unit, through which we can render more service in any given space of time than we need for our own expression. We can accumulate this service in the form of money, which is a container into which we can pour this additional service and use at later date. Money is an effect, not a cause, and so we do not put real value in money. We rather trust in our happiness and our security based upon our awareness of the real thing, which is cause, our ability to render a genuine, honest service to humanity. The great challenge is for us to learn how to render a real service to humanity. There are many unlimited opportunities to serve for every individual. Let us realize that we have been given not only the privilege, but the capacity to discover a great opportunity to serve humanity. Then let us burn all of our bridges and get into that particular channel for which we have been especially designed, and let us become experts in that field, so we can dedicate ourselves to rendering a quality and a quantity of service. We will be compensated in peace of mind and livingness, which is a continuous joy. That will be our first and most valuable compensation, but we will also be compensated in the form of financial remuneration in proportion to the quality and the quantity of the service we have rendered. Lesson 7. How to make success automatic. Basically, success is founded upon the type of thoughts which we permit ourselves to entertain from moment to moment. These thoughts are controlled by habit pattern. Once this pattern is established, and our thoughts become an automatic process based upon these patterns, which we have developed because of our own desires, it is possible for us to establish sufficient success patterns in the subconscious mind so that we automatically think the proper thoughts that will make us say the right thing, do the right thing, and will make us automatically successful. This great law, which I would like to refer to as the law of cosmic habit force, or the law of habit, creates the whole universe. Every phase of expression in the entire universe operates according to this law of habit. Every phase of intelligence in the universe operates on the premise of the law of cosmic habit force. This means that once a pattern is formed and is repeated enough time for it to become well established, it will automatically operate in that orbit of expression, unless it is consciously changed by a new decision upon it by the individual himself. Let me review very briefly. Decide exactly what you want to be, and decide exactly the things you want to have. Definitize them by writing them down, and go over them hundreds of times in your thought processes. Think about the things you want to be and the things you want to have, until habit patterns are established in the subconscious, in the form of tracks upon which the thoughts can function. Then, when you feel natural in this new concept of what you want to be and what you want to have, it is yours. Lesson 8. How to obtain the missing ingredients necessary for your success. I have good news for all of these wonderful people who deserve to be successful, yet feel that there are ingredients missing from the picture which cause them to fail to reach their objectives. There is a principle which makes it possible for them to obtain all of the missing ingredients, regardless of what they may be. I call this principle the mastermind principle. The mastermind principle is a friendly alliance of two or more people working together toward a common objective. Employment of this principle makes it possible for a person to enjoy the benefits of the background, the education, the energy, and the influence of other people, as though all of these qualities were his very own. This mastermind principle can be appropriated to help you solve any of your personal problems, regardless of their nature. Realize that there are experts in every field who will be happy to help you, provided you will ask them and then compensate them. You can compensate them either from the standpoint of your appreciation or from a standpoint of remuneration, or something else that would be satisfactory and motivating to them. Lesson 9. The power which makes all desires obtainable. There is only one power in the entire universe, but there are many applications and expressions of this one power. One of the most important expressions of this one power is what we ordinarily refer to as willpower. Through the proper understanding of willpower, one can obtain the fulfillment of any desire whatsoever. Let me emphasize this simple fact. Everyone has a willpower. Everyone has a conscious mind. Through the conscious and subconscious mind, we are able to design, according to our own specifications, the kind of life we want to live and the type of things we want to have. Through the willpower, we direct it so it expresses itself in regard to our dreams, until it becomes a habit pattern, so we automatically think in terms of our dreams fulfilled. Lesson 10. The power of your imagination. Through the proper use of the imagination, any person on the face of the earth can immediately assume that he is the person he would like to be. He can also assume that he has what he would like to have. But we must dare to imagine these things. In other words, if you want to be truly successful, You must say constantly to yourself, I am truly successful. Not, I'm going to be truly successful, because when you say you are going to be truly successful, you are confessing that you are not truly successful. Then, the subconscious picks up the inference that you are not successful and brings that type of harvest into your life. But dare to believe this principle and start saying to yourself that you are successful. Say to yourself, I'm successful, I am happy, I'm prosperous, I'm poised, I'm very healthy, I'm a person of wisdom, I'm a person of peace and happiness and joy and gentleness and faith and meekness, I'm a person of enthusiasm and conviction. Put everything you want to be in the form of the present and start making statements to yourself in the attitude of ability and prayer. That is the way the subconscious will receive it and will bring it to pass in due season, when you do not lose your faith. Lesson 11. How to obtain an increase in income. A few people in the world have developed the habit of rendering more service than what is expected of them. They appropriate the law of increasing returns. They sow generously, therefore, they reap generously. Making the extra mile principle part of one's habitual expression for all humanity leads to the development of a positive attitude, and habitually rendering more service than that which is usually expected tends to change our basic habit patterns from a negative to a positive. And, of course, one of the most desirable traits in the world is a positive mental attitude. In other words, it creates a continuous challenge to find new ways of rendering a service, because it switches one's focal point of attention from the I consciousness to the you consciousness. It develops the important factor of personal initiative, without which no one may obtain any position above mediocrity, without which no one may acquire economic freedom. It develops definiteness of purpose, without which no one can hope for success. One must render as much as he is being paid for in order to hold his job or to maintain his source of income, whatever it may be. One has the privilege of always rendering an overplus as a means of accumulating a reserve credit of goodwill, as a means of gaining higher pay and a better position. If no such overplus is rendered, one has not a single argument in his favor by asking for a better position or increased pay. Think this over for yourself and you will have the real answer to why it pays to render more service and better service than you are being paid for. Actually, the employer is not the one who pays your salary, you are. You pay your own salary. It doesn't cost your employer a penny to pay your salary, provided he is paying you what you're worth. So, the only honest way that any employee can ask for a raise is after he has gone the second mile in quality and quantity of service, to the point where he is literally earning and producing more than his present income would indicate. Lesson 12. The power of your emotions. The challenge is for each one of us to become aware of the power of our emotions, and the fact that we can control our emotions, that we can experience only the desirable type of feelings, and that when we impresses the subconscious with desirable feelings, we can have only desirable experiences. All we have to do is define the type of situation we would like to experience, and then begin immediately to plant that kind of seed with feeling and emotion into our subconscious mind, and make these impressions which will, according to the law as tangible as gravity, electricity, or chemistry, develop into an experience. If we desire to experience these desirable things as a matter of habit, we must entertain these thoughts until they become well established, and then the law of habit will come into play, and from that point on, we will experience them without any conscious effort. Did you ever wonder why some salespeople can say the same words, make the same approach, give the same presentation, give the same close, word for word, as another salesman, and the prospect fails to react, while another person can come along and give that same approach, that same presentation, that same close, and make many sales? The difference is in the depth of emotion, feeling, and conviction. It is a great challenge for each person to learn to feel strongly about something, unless one makes a decision and says within himself, "This I believe with all of my being." He cannot express life effectively. Each person not only must find something that is good, true, and beautiful, but which expresses itself with a depth of conviction. Each person must take inventory of all of his present habit patterns, and gradually as they come up and try to express himself to neutralize them if they are negative, and replace them with a positive track or habit pattern. One day, all the negative patterns will be eliminated or neutralized, and all of his being will come from habit patterns, which are positive and manifested in terms of the good, the true, and the beautiful. Then, every thought, which comes from one's being, will come with sincerity and with a depth of feeling. This great indescribable emotional power will express itself effectively, and one's life will become a beautiful thing, a happy thing, a desirable thing. Lesson 13. How to get started on your dream. All anyone has to do to enjoy a large measure of happiness, health, and prosperity is to find a great human need, to find the answer to filling that need, burn all of his bridges behind him, and learn to take the answer to that need through a channel of service in quality and quantity. One must become aware that he is a thinking being. Next, it is important that one become keenly aware that he can control the one thought which he thinks at a time through willpower. Next, it is important that he become keenly aware that he is, that everyone is what they are, because of the quality and the quantity of their past thoughts and experiences. It is important for us to choose our objectives or our goals. In order for one to be happy, healthy, and prosperous, one must have an objective. It is important that one develop self-confidence. Everyone is especially and exclusively designed to do something well and possibly better than anyone else. Therefore, due to the fact that no two individuals are alike or are designed for the same purpose, there is no intelligent basis for comparison of one individual with another. Realize that you are important. Realize that you are designed especially to do a great service to humanity, and that you are different. Realize that you are exclusive. Realize that you have your own individuality. Become keenly aware of your individuality and your great purpose, and then dedicate yourself to fulfilling that great purpose, and you will develop self-confidence. In order to get started on our dream, we need to know the proper concept of money, which is the medium of exchange used in our economic world today. There is a great law in this universe, the law of habit. There is a way for every individual to obtain the missing ingredients he needs in order to reach his dream or objective. I refer to the mastermind principle. Consider, too, the willpower, which every individual possesses. Another very important factor in getting started on your dream and having the dream fulfilled is to become thoroughly acquainted with the marvelous imagination, which every individual possesses. The habit of going the second mile is one of the most important principles of success. It is vitally important that one learn the power of the emotion or the power of feeling, because when the conscious mind uses the imagination and definitizes an idea, that idea must be felt. Another important factor in attaining health, happiness, and success is constantly having peace of mind. First, take inventory of your present situation, relative to the size and quality of your thinking. May I suggest that you obtain a notebook and write down an inventory of your present situation, fourth dimensionally and third of dimensionally. You may wonder how to take inventory fourth dimensionally. Write down in your notebook your concept of how much poise, how much charm, how much kindness, how much love, how much faith, how much gentleness, how much patience, how many good qualities which are desirable, and how many bad qualities which are undesirable you possess as a matter of habitual experience at the present time. That will be your fourth dimensional inventory. Now, write down your third dimensional inventory. Your third dimensional inventory includes the type of house you live in, the type of car you drive, the type of clothes you wear, the type of income you habitually receive. Everything you have in your physical environment is in your third dimensional inventory. Then, turn the page in your notebook and write down what you would like to be fourth dimensionally. How lovely you would like to be, how charming you would like to be, how much confidence, how much faith, how much patience, how much love, how much joy, how much peace, how much gentleness, how much kindness you would like to experience habitually. Then, take inventory of the type of person you would like to be from the standpoint of the third dimension. What kind of house would you like to live in? What kind of a car would you really like to drive? What kind of clothes would you like to wear? What kind of a neighborhood would you like to live in? What kind of a country club would you like to join? What kind of friends would you like to socialize with? How much money would you like to have as a stable basic income? Number 3, have a little talk with yourself. You are constantly carrying on a conversation with yourself, within yourself. As soon as you learn to feel natural in your dream fulfilled, thinking from the position that you already are what you want to be, and that you already have what you want to have, you will find that you have attained this new level of experience, and you will be casually living in your dream fulfilled. The way to get started on your dreams now is to definitize them now. When you have attained the new level of your present dream fulfilled, you will be able to see further over the horizon of life and will be in a position to design a new dream of being and having. Lesson 14. The 4 greatest values in life. To me, there are 4 values in life which stand out above all others. They are as follows: integrity, faith, courage, and humility. Integrity is a law, just like electricity, gravity, mathematics, and chemistry. Integrity, when you thoroughly understand its nature, is something that one would not violate any more than one would violate the laws of electricity if one knew the consequences of such violation. In order to protect the individual from the uncomfortable consequences of violating the basic law of integrity, it is necessary that we approach this matter of integrity from a standpoint of morality. In other words, we must lay down certain rules, and we must say that it is good if we observe the rules, and it is evil to violate the rules. Next to integrity, I believe that faith is the highest value in life. In other words, our mind expresses through the instruments of our thoughts, and our thoughts are contained in our words, which have size and color, design and texture. For when we say, according to our faith it is done unto us, we are saying, according to our inner perception, and according to the size and color of our ideas relative to the infinite, it is done unto us. So faith is also a tangible law and not something that we just profess too blindly. The next great value to me is courage. Courage is a function of mind that expresses itself in terms of intensity of attitude. Our ability to stand up and face life without fear. It really is a quality that is based upon our understanding, because our courage would depend upon our understanding, and according to our understanding, we will be able to react to life positively or with courage. The next quality to me is the great quality of humility. Humility is that quality that comes from knowing who we are, in relationship to ourselves and our fellow man, and in relationship to the Creator of the universe and all of life. Yes, humility is knowing the truth about our relationship to life, giving credit where credit is due. It is not the Pollyanna sissy type of attitude or the act that many people put on and call humility. It is a tenacious, stable type of thinking that comes from a habit pattern based on the understanding of life. And so, integrity is the greatest quality in the universe, and it is a scientific thing. To know the truth is to have integrity. When you understand integrity, you would rather give someone $10 than to beat them out of $1. You know that the law will bring you happiness, health, and abundance if you practice integrity. Faith is that size and color of one's convictions and inner understanding, and the amount and the quality that one is able to express proportionate to one's individuality. Courage is that quality which makes it possible for us to learn new things and face the things we fear in order that we might continue to grow in our understanding of life. Humility is understanding our true relationship to life, and not to feel that we can do anything of ourselves, but we can do all things through the great powers with which we are one. Lesson 15. How to get a feeling. It has been said by lettered men for centuries, and that to have a feeling of happiness is to be happy, and have a feeling of abundance is to have an abundance, and to have a feeling of health is to be healthy. Now I would like to introduce what I call the law of reversibility. which is a law in this universe, the same as any other great law, like electricity. The law of reversibility could be illustrated as follows. If you start with a dynamo and a crank on a wheel, you can turn the crank and the wheel and turn the dynamo, which we will refer to as physical action. We can start with physical action, and by using physical action, we can turn the dynamo physically, and we can create electricity. On the other hand, we can reverse the process. We can start with electricity, and with electricity, we can turn a wheel or a physical action. In other words, we can reverse the process. We can start with physical action to create electricity, or we can start with electricity and create physical action. I'm sure that everybody can understand that. Now let's apply it in a higher level of values. We can start with physical action and create a feeling, and then in turn, feeling will create a physical action. If you can act like a king, if you can feel like a king, you can be a king. If you can act like you are rich, you can feel like you are rich. And if you can feel like you are rich, you can be rich. If you can act like you are healthy, you can feel like you are healthy. And if you can feel like you are healthy, you can be healthy. Now, how do you get a feeling? You get a feeling by going through the physical exercises that you would go through if you were already the type of person you want to be. It is the number 2 portion of the if you can count to 4 formula. The number 2 portion is, pretend that you already are the person you want to be. Pretend that you already have what you want to have. So you can literally be anything you want to be, and you can have anything that you want to have if you will first of all identify it. 1. Define it, then play the game. 2. Until it becomes a strong feeling in the conscious, and then express this concept with strong feeling on the subconscious, and then it must become an experience in your life. Lesson 16. The power of the law of repetition. Each time we control our attention and express our word along a certain line, repeating over and over and over again and again a certain concept or a certain idea, we are making a track in the subconscious. We are building what we call in practical psychology a conditioned consciousness. We are building a habitual feeling or a condition from which we express a habitual feeling in the subconscious. And it has been proved that when we go through this process, through repeating and repeating and repeating over and over again, the concept that it will become established in the subconscious as a condition from which we will react with feeling habitually, and then that is known as a part of us, and as Solomon said, as a man thinketh, so is he. Now, through this law of repetition, we can deal with the area of cause, which is the father principle as was described in another chapter. A well-defined idea in the conscious mind is the father principle. A well-defined idea is planted in the subconscious, or the female portion of the mind, and then the son or the dream fulfilled is a result, or the offspring. So, we're getting down to basic causes when we are dealing with well-defined ideas and concepts, which we control through the imagination. You not only want to record knowledge on the subconscious, you want to record wisdom. After you have it so that you can memorize it, then keep on saying it until it has meaning. By repeating it and studying it over and over, it has meaning, and when you get the meaning and then how to apply the meaning, that is wisdom. This recording of the Millionaire Maker Lecture, How to Get Everything You Want Out of Life, by J. Earl Shoaff, was presented by David DeAngelis. Sound recording copyright 2022 and produced by Deep Send Limited 2022.